What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of
Mom and Son Podcast. This is Rose Fres Fausto, the mom, also known as FQ Mom.
And this is Anton Fausto, the son.
In this third episode of our second season, we interview newly signed artist BEA Lorenzo.
That's right, she was just signed by Sony, and what makes her very unique and different is that she uses an instrument called a kalimba, and I was able to check it out. And she even taught me the basics on how to play it.
You know, the first time I've heard and seen anything like that was with BEA, kalimba. It's very interesting. So we'll be learning not just about the kalimba, but her story on how she actually first took up biology. You know, she wanted to be a doctor.
Ooh.
Later on, maybe the calling, all this nagging feeling.
Yeah.
We'll be hearing that straight from the BEA's mouth.
Alright, so here's our interview with BEA. Alright, so I'm here with musician BEA Lorenzo. I'm here, and thank you for inviting me here to your, what do you call this room?
My office.
I feel like it's important for, especially artists, to have that parang sacred, safe space in their house.
Yeah.
Would you say that this room is your, where you can get in the zone? Talaga?
Yes, exactly. Okay. That's actually the main purpose of the room. I wouldn't say it's a recording space, but it's a sacred space, definitely.
Let's jump to the music questions naman.
Okay.
Who would be your music idols?
Okay, international, I always looked up to Jason Mraz. In many ways, Adele. Then I love Bruno Mars. Recently, Ariana Grande. I've been obsessed with her.
Same.
I guess I'm not shy to admit that. I watched her concert. I mean, not her concert. I watched her perform in F1. I watched live. I was alone, dude, but it was like beautiful. And Corinne Bailey Ray.
The Put Your Records On.
Yeah, she's super awesome. Leanne LaHavas. She's from the UK, so she's not super popular, but a lot of people know her, and she's very classy, and I love the way she sings.
Would you say that you sort of pattern your music to all these different idols?
In a way, that's how it started out, especially about 3 years ago. Like, how do you write a song, right? So, like, you have these chord progressions that artists would go back to over and over again. So I thought, like, oh, maybe I should try writing on top of their chord progressions. I have tried to actually take the chords of another song and sing on top of it.
So sort of like an exercise.
Yeah, and I guess yung pagka like poetic of like some lyrics, I try to like learn from them too. Some songwriters write as if they're just talking to someone. It's very personal.
Yeah.
And some people are more poetic. So I have explored going like back and forth, and seeing what I'm more comfortable with. And I seem to really like talking to someone. Kind of.
When you say that you're talking to someone, is there like a message you're trying to bring out with your music? I can imagine, example, Jason Mraz, live life happily, to love, all of that. What message are you trying to form and say through your music?
Recently, it's mostly like love talaga. I haven't released those songs yet, but sometime at the end of this year, the like raw feeling of just being super committed, like ready, like it just has to be real. I feel like something I can't really write about other people's experience. If I have felt like expressing this love to someone before, then it will come out in song. But if I'm gonna talk about an experience about like going to like India, I've never been to India. I can't do that.
You can't. Would you say that ever since you were a kid that you really you knew that you wanted to be a musician when you grew up? Like where was music? What role did music play in your life?
That's a good question, because like actually as a kid, I never saw music as a career. I didn't have any musicians in my family or in my circle.
You come from a family of doctors.
Yes.
Right. We'll get to that. We'll get to that the story there later.
Exactly. So I was sort of raised to treat my music as a hobby. I was fortunate because my parents like enrolled me in piano lessons at some point when I was like 8 years old.
I think all Filipino parents enroll their kids.
I didn't like it. I didn't like piano lessons.
Oh, okay.
I loved my teacher, but I didn't like oh, you have to practice every week. And then she'd come back. I come back there and she'd be like, oh, hindi ka nag-practice. But it was a discipline that stuck with me. Like, it really is true. You have to practice if you want to get better. Or like piano, kasi it became more of like a kinesthetic dancing fingers. So it was more like how fast I was playing and like pressing the right notes. But I didn't understand what was going on. So after my piano teacher left, then I started trying to like read about
Do you
like, what's a
understand?
chord and what's the relationship.
So when you were growing up, like was there like a time that you thought, wow, I can actually pursue this, I can make my own music, it's not just a hobby?
Not up until after college.
Oh, okay.
It really took a long time for me to see that. I romanticized the idea of being in like a STEM field, like in med school or something.
Sorry, what course did you take again?
I took up biology.
You wanted to be a doctor.
I wanted to be a
I'm guessing.
doctor.
Yeah.
And you know, like how people romanticize the like, oh, I am academic and I'm smart, but I'm also
I'm artistic.
like artistic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's a thing, and there are so many people like that. And I think I romanticized that for quite too long. Like, I really thought that I would be like the doctor who was like
Who
a side
do
thing.
music also? Okay.
It was until after college na I had a couple. I was able to join a couple of camps
Mm-hmm.
where I was introduced to more friends in music who pursued them as full-time careers. And they convinced me that I have something that I can't just put on the side.
This is all after college.
This was after college.
After college, you took a job. You took like a regular.
Yeah, I did. Was a music journalist, music writer. I applied for any job that was creative.
Did you go for a job that was like, related to music?
The funny thing is, I didn't look for a job that was like related to music. I just heard about an opening, and I was like, oh, but that's not medicine. Like I was like,
After these camps, you were set that I'm not gonna
yeah.
pursue being
Yeah.
a doctor.
The thing is, I was the last one to realize that there were signs. I was already tinkering with the idea of like, oh, maybe I should be a dentist. Oh, maybe I should be a vet. Or maybe I was like trying to switch it. It's either med school or research.
Would you say that nasayangan mo? Parang sayang yung time mo with biology na you could have taken up like studied music in college, or do you think that it's okay? You still learned what you had to learn.
I'm pretty much at peace with it, yeah, because I don't feel like it's sayang. I feel like it's a very common thing that people take up something in college, just they do something completely different
else,
in life. But I think what people really pick up in college is that discipline to push hard, even though it's not easy. You know,
Yeah,
like
facing challenges.
Like I thought, like okay, if I could pull through biology without being so into it, then what more something I care about so much, right? Up until now, like no matter how hard like being an adult can be, it's always like I look back at college and like I spent 4 years like mindlessly following a path that wasn't mine and pushing like my brain cells to death. So it should be much easier. It should be much more fulfilling if you can apply that sort of grit to like something you care
Wow,
about.
I never thought about that.
It's like
That's such a quotable quote. That's such a BEA Lorenzo quotable quote.
I don't know. That's something I have to tell myself often. You know, I guess it's not easy for someone to take in that like they spent 4 years doing something like
That they did
and
super.
then
They didn't do you want.
I do like biology to like an appreciation level. I feel like it helped me marvel at life. Like, you know, all the way down to like the chemistry of it. I guess it's more of the culture of like classrooms and exams that I wanted to get away from.
I want to know, how did your parents react? How did you break the news to them? This is what I want to do. I'm not going to be a doctor.
It was very gradual, actually. I was still in college, and I was already dropping hints that maybe I should take a gap year after college before applying for med.
But med was still in the picture by that time.
Kind of. I mean, I took the NMAT, and I think it was already one of the biggest clues to my parents that I didn't submit any of those to any med school. I don't know, I had a really good NMAT score, and I thought that was a sign, but then my parents, I think it was probably strange to think like, oh, my daughter, she hasn't her NMAT score. It's a very competitive score, but she didn't send it to any school. And I feel like they knew ahead of me, actually, that I wasn't going to med school, because I would bring my guitar to school. At some point in college, it really just became about finishing the course and not really about like getting competitive grades for med school anymore. Yeah, they sort of predicted it already. I guess there was a time where I was like auditioning for. I actually auditioned for Miss Saigon.
Oh, okay.
Where
Do you have theater experience?
No.
Oh, okay. But you dance. And you perform, and you sing.
I thought like maybe I could fake
you could,
it.
you could just add up all my talents. Maybe it's gonna be.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's a different game.
It's a different game. I love to dance. I love to sing. I thought like maybe the acting could just fall in somehow magically sprinkle somewhere there, but no, di talaga like
Do you see theater in your future like a possible path for you to take?
You know, it's always like poking me like, oh, maybe you should audition for this. Maybe you should do this. The thing is, I spent 13 years in ballet, and I feel like ballet and theater are very much like somehow intertwined. I feel like I could unlock something in me in the future. Like, I think acting is something so courageous, anyone can learn it, but the brave ones actually
Succeed in it.
yeah. I feel like actors aren't just pretending. They have so many experiences and they're able to like bring out like pretend you have to be like sad or like really you
So
have
they,
to, like,
they'll
play a
bring in
really-
real things.
Yeah, they bring in real
So
things.
it's just like you're talking about your music that you can't fake these stuff. It has to come from personal
Exactly.
experience. Would you say that the OPM scene is really on a rise and it's much better now than let's say 5 years ago?
I would definitely say it's on a rise. Yeah. To say it's much better than 5 years ago, there are a lot of sensitive.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And I wouldn't be the right person to judge that because 5
Okay.
years ago, my eyes towards OPM were like still closed.
Mhm.
I discovered OPM late. You listen to Hail and everything.
Yeah.
That's a sign that you know the old.
Kind of grew up
Yeah.
with it, yeah.
Yeah, I started listening to OPM in like 2015. Yeah.
What was the first OPM band that you really liked?
Well, a lot of my OPM knowledge is influenced by Paulo of Ben and Ben.
Okay.
So he gave me a mixtape before.
With like OPM.
Yes.
Mm,
So like
okay.
one of the first bands he would show me is like Sugar Free.
Yeah.
Yeah. I super like
Yeah,
fell
yeah.
in love with Ebe's songwriting. Of course, UDD was one of a lot of people's first like super
Yeah.
unfair, right? Like they feel like they're like OPM listeners because they know like UDD or something.
Mhm.
I did fall in love with Fairweather. The way I discovered bands, aside from Paula's mixtape, was like actually going to gigs and encountering them in real life. The thing is, like, I don't stream a lot or like download music. It's a lot of the music I go to gigs. I have to like experience in real life.
So you're not the type who listens to music all day?
No, I love silence. It's so weird.
Oh wow! I would never have thought that. I thought that if you were a musician and you made music, that you'd want to listen to. I mean, I listen to music every day. I don't make music. I thought that you would, always listen to music that day. But you like silence.
I do like silence. It's strange. Like, but recently though, I purchased earphones and it really makes me want to listen. But
Recently, you purchased earphones. That you don't hear that. I don't hear that.
No, yeah. For the longest time, I've been just using those headphones over there. Those are supposed to stay here in the studio, not really like bring around and
Yeah,
everything.
I see the tape.
Yeah. Listening to music for me is such a conscious activity. It's a conscious activity. I can't have it on while I'm writing or while I'm showering. I've tried. I like when I'm showering, but then I don't know. I feel like it's. I'd rather like sing in the shower, like it's
okay.
like that.
I need music in the shower. It's my if I pass 2 songs, it's up. You're taking a little too long.
Oh, that's your.
If I'm
gauge.
rushing, 1 song lang in the shower. Yeah, that's why.
That's smart.
That's my measuring.
That's smart. Actually, yeah. Like I don't know. I think it's amazing how people are able to put music there and then be like autopilot, like it's just there. For me, every time something's on, I have to be either listening to the lyrics or listening to the parts of the song, like the components. Like
So you kind of analyze it.
yeah.
Is it safe to say that since you make music, when you hear music, parang it's second nature for you to look for the layers?
Yeah. Now that it's my career, it's super,
man.
it's mandatory, man. Like if I'm not able to, I'm gonna like go back and be like, okay, what was that sound?
Oh, okay. You have a really personal relationship with music. Huh?
Yeah, I can't label things by genre. It's hard. I had to do it when I was a music journalist because I would write about the band. And be like, rock, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
R&B, blah blah blah, singer, blah blah. It was hard for me to understand what I was actually saying, so I had to Google everything. Like, type of.
Would you give your music a genre?
For like media that interview me and everything, I tell them alternative R&B. I feel like it has a lot of elements from R&B, but it's not like your typical R&B. I don't really know. Like I don't know what to call it.
So it's safe to say that you categorize music not really by genres, but more of by your personal experiences with them.
Yeah, if I had the choice to,
Yeah.
but of course, when I'm faced with like people who talk genres, I still have a lot to learn, like how to actually classify.
I mean, I guess it's you're always gonna be a student.
Yeah.
And even if
That's
no matter how
important.
long how much years you have now or how much experience you have, you're always gonna be.
Yeah, actually, it's nice to bring that up. I feel like that's no matter what industry you're in.
Yeah.
I think it helps you. Like if you keep an open mind that there's so much more that you have to learn, then you really just become better. If not to be better, at least to keep fascinated at your craft. Because like, I feel like if it's not about being the best, it's about being in love with what you do. At least.
Okay. Speaking of like learning and being a student, you have the one of the most unique instruments I've seen.
Well, it originated in Africa.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So the thing is, the traditional African kalimba doesn't look like this. Actually, it only has tines in one side. This one has in the back. But I think like Americans took it and tried to like modernize it. They engineered like.
Is this your first one? And this is the
my first
only.
one.
You don't have another.
I have 4.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I have 4.
I'm guessing each one has like a different sound.
The thing is, I only bought 2 from the same vendor, and the 2 others were sponsored by other brands.
Okay.
So they wanted me to like make videos. So
Are there other artists that are known for the kalimba?
Not a lot in Manila. I don't really, actually haven't heard of any. Do you know Earth, Wind and Fire? They
Yes.
use the kalimba.
They do.
Not like in every song, but they were some of the first to use it. There are people in other countries, like I have a friend from Japan. The thing is, like, the moment I started playing kalimba, I was able to connect with like the kalimba community, like globally. It's a very small community.
Okay.
So this one has very few notes.
Okay.
Do you want to try it? You
Yes,
should.
yes, I want to try. Okay, so I just have to push it.
Here, I'll show you like do, re, mi, fa. It's really just
okay.
like from the center you go left, right. So
Okay. This instrument's so nice. Parang you'll never go wrong.
actually, yeah, there's something about the kalimba.
This
that,
is me playing.
Yeah.
Wow!
See? But yeah, the kalimba is one of those instruments that are designed within a scale. So you have a piano, and you can play
Okay.
all these different scales.
But
right?
this is one scale.
The front is one scale.
Okay.
But the reason why they designed one with the back
Yeah.
is to make it like a piano. So these are kind of like the black keys.
Black keys,
yeah.
okay.
So you can play different scales. If you want to play a G scale, you just go. And then the A, you have to go like.
Okay, going now more into the career aspect
Mm.
of being a musician. Of course, you're not employed. How hard is it to stay productive even when no one's telling you to quote unquote do your job?
That's super been my struggle actually. That's something that I've struggled with for the past few months. The thing is, no one's waiting for your music, and no one's waiting for you to get out of gigs. Even though like they'll say like, oh, when's your next gig, or like when's your, you don't.
There's no penalty.
Yeah, there are no consequences except for like being forgotten or being like irrelevant. But how scary is that really? Like, I mean, if you're able to still play, if it's not about the fame, if it's not about being known, then what's really gonna like whip your ass off the bed and like get you to.
So what motivates you?
I just really want to make sure everything I do is I'm happy with the creative decisions. It took me a long time to find my sound.
The instrument, I guess that's a
groove or
big
anything. Yeah, the instrument was a huge step. I don't know, I have this expectation of myself na to create something new talaga. If I fail to do that, if I'm just like copycatting like some other artists that I love, which is so easy to fall into sometimes. I think I'm afraid of that maybe. It's actually something that a lot of artists are afraid of, but actually shouldn't be too obsessed about. I just want to do something different. And maybe I become a perfectionist at some point. It slows down my pace.
Hinders your progress. Where do you find the balance of, because your work is very, depends on the mood, the emotion, but then how do you put a structure? If there's an opportunity that shows up, then I'll work and I'll take it. Or are you more of the, I always have to be doing something, whether or not there's a gig, whether or not I have a project with a deadline?
I would say I'm a workaholic, even though like I stay home a lot. Every minute I put into my life is still like geared towards becoming a better professional musician. And those days that I don't actually directly work on the music, I'll at least be working on my health so that I could perform better. Every minute of my life is still geared towards becoming a better professional musician.
You put in time for your career. It doesn't mean that you're writing songs or you're listening to music. It's everything. It's a holistic taking care of your. I'm guessing if you're thorough.
Yeah, for me it's important to stay relaxed. The worst gigs I've done are the ones where I'm like so like freaking out, like I'm so scared. Yeah, like because unlike when I used to dance, like if I'm nervous, the worst that could show is like if I'm shaking. But then like when I'm singing, they can hear my breath. They can hear the flow of the breath is coming out of you if it's shaking a bit.
What would be your big dream, big goal when it comes to your career as a musician? Is there like I want to perform this thing, I want to win this award?
Oh yeah, it's definitely not awards. I do want to tour. I really want to tour everywhere. I spent the summer at Hollywood. I watched a show at the Hollywood Bowl. I don't know. I had this like secret whisper in my head, and like, oh, I have to play here one day. I got to watch a show that was dedicated to Ella Fitzgerald, and it was played by Count Basie Orchestra. And the way I was able to get tickets was super spontaneous. Experience. I was just walking in the street, and then out of the movie house came this. He was a father, and he had like his son with him, and his name was Clayton. And his son was like, "Hey, Daddy, is that a guitar?" Because I had a ukulele with me.
Okay.
And he was like, "That's a ukulele," and he talked to me, and he was like, "Oh, could you play something for us?" So I played something for them. The dad was like, "Oh, so you're really a musician? Listen, I have this 2 tickets to this show that my friend, he can't show up. So do you have anyone to go with?" He gave us the tickets. They were like $95. And then I brought my aunt, and we were like, "What the hell are we doing? I can't believe we're doing this." Because my aunt who lived in Hollywood.
That's such a movie scene.
It was a crazy. It felt like something else was directing my life. Later on, we find out that the guy I met in the street was part of the show. He was the drummer of the show. So we're like, "What? That's him."
That's how he
at intermission, he comes to us, he's like, "How are you guys?" And everything like that. Like, whoa! I guess like in Hollywood, he's like a father figure to me and everything. He even took me to like a recording session in Capitol Records, not to sing but to watch, to like to observe, because they were recording a Christmas album. Count Basie Orchestra. It was it was crazy. I couldn't believe everything that was happening. But Hollywood Bowl. I really want to play in Hollywood Bowl one day before I die. I don't know if that's even possible, but it's nice to have like one concrete stage to think about.
It's kind of hard to imagine what would be the mindset of a musician. Because for normal, I don't know, let's say other jobs, it's to get the promotion, to achieve this big goal. But in yours, you kind of take it day by day. It's like a passion project, but it's your career at the same time. What would be the hardest thing with this kind of lifestyle?
I think it's the part where you're fighting for the value of what you do. In a lot of creative fields, there are clients who don't understand how much the work you do actually costs, and you give them their rate, and they say, "Hey, mahal." I get it. Playing music it's not like some other businesses where you have a lot of costs for
every
like, raw
time
materials and like
you move.
Yeah, even though it's like you're just gonna go there and play, you're gonna hire a sound engineer, you're going to buy clothes for it, I don't know, look decent for it,
the transportation,
the equipment, even though it's like a one-time expense for sometimes like
it's a big expense for it.
Yeah, it is. Some people even invest in education for it, take courses to get better at music production or like singing and stuff like that. So there is money that goes into it. When you quote your client with a certain rate and they can't afford it, I feel like, okay, they can walk away from it. But some people go as far as insulting the artist, saying like, "Are you really worth that much? Ano naman, like,
sino ka ba?
Your followers are just like this naman." And it's like that.
How would you measure kasi diba, the value of something that's so abstract?
And I guess that's something that's like ringing in the back of our heads all the time na, okay, a lot of musicians, like, we hate na we go to family gatherings and all the titas and titos and like, "Oh yeah, what are you doing now?" And so like that. Everyone's like, "Oh, I'm working at the bank. Oh, I'm working at the and it's like, "Oh, I'm a singer." "Oh, can you later can you sing?" Like as if it's that easy. As a performer, your capital is your time.
Yeah.
So I've been, actually, one thing I've noticed about myself, I've been very stingy about my time. I don't know, maybe because it feels like I'm balancing 5 jobs. I always feel like there's something else to do. If I'm not doing music, there's something happening. I'm answering clients, I have monitoring other things. Unlike a lot of regular jobs, you come to work, you get paid the same thing at the end of the month. No matter like if you're on leave or something like that, or if you're sick, or if you underperform, if you overperform, you get paid the same.
You're covered.
You're guaranteed. 30 days in a month, your income depends on 4 days of that month. It can happen like that.
In this age of streaming music, so is your main source of income, would it be the live gigs?
These days, I actually talked to a professional like in LA. His name is Phil Corder. He's managed Josh Groban and everything.
Okay.
They really say these days, 2019, it's not anymore album sales. I mean, that could be like a small fraction of the income.
Yeah.
But it's going to be live shows. So that's why it's such a huge thing for musicians to tour. It's really important. That's why I support live music. People put their music on Spotify and Apple Music more as like a calling card or a portfolio.
Yeah.
Puts you on the map. And it's like to refer to their analytics on like Spotify to see what cities are listening, so they know where to tour.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a really great tool, but it's not the main source of income talaga.
You're gonna stick with BEA Lorenzo.
I do.
You don't plan on changing.
I did want to change my name before because ang daming BEA kasi. But I did ask people from other countries. It's such a unique name, and when you go to like the States, when you go to like Indonesia, like I mean, it's like, oh, what's that name? Or India, they're like, oh, BEA, like that's a nice name. I mean, I've had some disadvantages. People think it's similar to BEA Alonzo. People.
Good thing you're not in the same industry.
Yeah. But entertainment brand.
Yeah,
who cares? Like it's
it's
fine.
your name. So
yeah, it's fine.
Yours.
And I feel like BEA Lorenzo, it's not like a fake name or something like that.
Yeah, I get it. What would be your advice to potential musicians or people who want to pursue music as a career, but syempre they're kind of scared. They don't know if it's sustainable, if they're cut out for it.
You have to pay attention what your strengths are talaga and what you can't do. It's nice to be like, oh, rah, 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 I'm gonna chase my dream. But years later, if you see like no one's supporting, it's okay, you can be strong and support yourself. But then the thing is like music, a lot of it depends on the reception of people around you. If people like you as a singer, people like you as a sessionist, people like you as a songwriter, people like you as a...
There are different aspects to music.
You can't succeed at all of them. And you have to pay attention to what you're good at talaga. Because like, you have to be realistic about it. Otherwise, it's just gonna kill you. It's gonna do the opposite. It's not gonna make you happy.
So wait, so what's next now? What's next for BEA Lorenzo?
Well, I just signed with Sony. And that's
Yeah, congratulations mga. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited. But then at the same time, after doing that, it's a lot of like, okay, now people are really paying attention and they really are waiting for the next release. So I'm going to work on deciding what song to release next and then finalizing it. Yeah, and we'll see what's going to come out of that. I do want to release something by June or July.
I'm excited. I look forward to that.
Thank you.
Hi, so where can people follow you or check out your work?
I guess like the regular social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. My handle's at BEA Lorenzo Music. BEA Lorenzo Music. Yeah, that's also my email, bealorenzomusic@gmail.com. That's where I accept bookings from clients and everything. Interesting, no? Like being an artist these days, so much of it is also being social media present.
That's kind of where that's our platform na rin, and that's how we get to get our name out and get clients. Okay, so thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Grabe, that was
good luck.
Thank
you so much.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot from this interview with BEA.
Yeah, I'm sure I enjoyed the. After the interview, I even stayed and she let me play with her different musical instruments. She taught me about the MIDI stuff and then connecting it to my laptop. And she's really teaching me. It was super fun.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of these days you'll be recording with her a rap with kalimba.
Sana.
So once again, this has been Rose Fausto, the mom, also known as FQ Mom.
And Anton Fausto, the son. Catch us again next week for another episode of
Mom and Son Podcast.
For any questions and comments, email us at antonfausto@gmail.com. Mom and Son Podcast airs every Tuesday at 7 a.m. and can be streamed anytime, anywhere through Spotify, Buzzsprout, Apple iTunes, and YouTube. Just search Mom and Son Podcast for your weekly dose of family, finance, different passions, and special guests.